Hey, I'd like to ask about rituals and process up top.
Okay.
So when you go on auditions or when you're on set, do you have any like things you always do or?
Yeah, always be nice. Always.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's a tough one too.
That's at the forefront of your mind when you're doing stuff?
Forefront going into, I think
Something new or something?
That's good. Or a new environment and stuff is like, kindness first, and then smiling is important. Just in general, being like fucking pleasant it sounds pretty simple, but it's not. It takes a lot of energy, and you got to kind of focus on it because it's too easy, and it gets easier to be a dick, and so you have to battle against it at every front. But
especially with those early call times and shit like that.
All of it, dude. Anything. You could have a great call time, a great this, a great pickup, a great driver, a great arrival, and then you sit, for example, in our business, as you'll be in a trailer or you'll be in a room or whatever, and you're like ready to go.
Yep.
Right? Like you studied all night or you did whatever the fuck, and now you're ready, and they're not. They have other shit to do, so you're sitting for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, and you're like, wait, where did it all? What now? What the fuck?
Where did it all go?
What did I do? I'm sure that went away. That the excitement that I have, I'm sure that all went away. But
No, yeah, I get it.
You have to find the way to still be like stoked about it. But that is part of the process, and then. Like introducing myself or ingratiating myself to others is another big one, which is kind of hand in hand.
That
with the kindness thing.
For sure, and I love that.
Yeah.
When I first moved here, I somehow ended up as an extra on the Mindy Project, and I remember Ike Barinholtz introduced himself to like every extra, and I was like, "This is cool. That's the coolest thing ever."
Yeah, man.
Because nobody else talked to us.
Grace is important because it's a moment. It's just real quick, but it is fucking contact and a direct like connection that really means a lot.
Well, and for like him, that's nothing, but for the person he's talking to, that could make their day or their week.
Yeah, and hopefully for him, it's not nothing. Hopefully for him, it's just as much of a cool thing. And he's like, "Hi, okay, cool, nice."
It's very true.
Yeah, but it's it's also a weird thing to do because in this business, people that do that can sometimes seem like weird, either like functioning. Like people that are trying to what's
fake?
The word? Yeah, fake, like connect
sycophant.
Yeah. Murderous. But if you're not one, then don't fucking worry about it.
Right.
Just be nice.
Anything else you got? I love this. This is great.
Yeah, and then as far as like the material, just don't give a fuck.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, don't care about what everybody thinks about you, and just
sure, do what you think is your thing.
Do it the way that you think it should be done, and then if they have direction, and if it's direction that you agree with to some degree, or you can conceptualize it in your head and shit, then do it. If not, then don't do it, and do exactly what you just did again.
Are you talking in auditions or on the set?
Sure, yeah. Sure.
Hey, I'm young and impressionable, so don't give me bad stuff.
No, there is no bad stuff, man. You just do it always as you want it, because that's why we're doing this.
Yeah, I've been taking a lot of classes, as I alluded to before we started, and that seems to be a common thing. It's like there's so many variables in this. Just go in, do your best that you can do, and then that's all you can do.
You are the only fingerprint of you. Right?
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
Thank you. You're a snowflake in this cold beer, brother. But for real, you're the only like person that can imprint any material or whatever or character as you.
Right.
We could all try to. Like if you did a really brilliant thing and we all watch it and you have a room full of actors being like, okay, now I want to mimic that. We'll all do our best.
Right.
But there is no chance that we will strike every chord in the same way or whatever. So it's just mimicry, but like.
So why deviate from that? Why not be you?
Why not be absolutely 100% you?
That's
and
great.
Even if it gets you into fucking trouble, like, well, there's trouble in life. We have to have some trouble.
So what do you like? What now? When you say all this, I'm picturing you in an audition room. When you walk in, do you talk a little bit?
It depends. It depends.
Do you try to ingratiate yourself with the assistant or the casting director or whoever?
Oh, yeah. Everything outside the room, because the audition itself is always always, no matter what or who or anything. It's like weird.
Yeah.
You know, you're in there and you're like, do I remember any of that shit? Do I need to remember any of that shit? Are these people looking at me? Am I looking at them? Who's here and why? And what's next? Am I working right now? Am I going to be all right? All those things at one moment.
So for those reasons, though, when I go into a room, I don't want to like be overbearing or anything, because I'm sure a lot of these actors are. So I just like say hello and I do the read. But I feel like you probably add a little bit, right?
Yeah, well, I don't give a fuck. I don't.
I like it.
And they don't. And if they do, good.
Sure.
And if something happens and I start to or something, good. But what I mean by I don't give a fuck is I'm not taking away from any of the stuff we've already talked about, which is like kindness, connection, like thorough joy and just appreciation for whatever the fuck these people are doing in their life and shit. Something just fell out of my beard onto myself, and I think it's a bug. So don't take any of my advice, Mike. Just like, carry on.
So basically, you're just saying you're focused on being authentic. You're not overthinking what you're doing in the room. You're just going in there and being yourself. Is what I think you're trying to say.
Yeah, I think I'm
just not as eloquently as I just did.
No, you just nailed it. I want you to sign this table.
I think I did at some point. Why not? I want to be amongst great people. So, what with the process of like memorization and anything? Do you have any tips or?
Oh, that one's still tough. I mean, that one I'm still trying to figure out at every turn. Different times I've been surprised by small failures on. Yeah. You show up on set and they're like, "All right, you ready?" And you realize like, "Oh shit, I have like 2 monologues," and like I didn't read it like I have 2 monologues. I just read it like, "Yeah, I'll figure that out." So under preparation still kind of will tag my ass sometimes.
Yeah, I find like 2-line auditions are the hardest for me because you're like, "Oh, it's easy," and then you get there like, "What's the second line?"
Yeah. Like, which one does it start with, the first line or the second line? Fuck.
I also just heard recently, as far as on-set memorization, like Robert Downey Jr. apparently uses an earwig.
I'd say most.
He doesn't memorize.
Yeah, I could believe that because one of the most fun experiences for me on set working is like, or off set, like in an audition. This just doesn't happen often in an audition. It's like you go and you say the line, and the scene is happening, and then the director's like, "Good. Now, say this," and like they'll just throw out a little new nugget, and you can be like, "Oh, cool, yeah," and then you say that either as they wanted it or you filter it through yourself, and that's for me the most collaborative fun between actor, director, and everybody,
right?
And so that feels like a sort of a parallel, thing, right? Where they're just like shouting out stuff, but it's in your fucking ear.
Right.
So you can be in the scene and then someone on the other end is like, say you have to put the money up in the basket. And then you're like, yeah, what would be the money up in the basket from? Hold on. I still have to write it. But like, they most likely will like put a little sparkle on it.
Right.
Instead of just saying, because when you say Robert Downey Jr. has an earwig in, the first thing most people are going to sit there and think or characterize as him is like, he hears a robot say something in his ear, and then we hear him say something from his mouth. But it's still Robert Downey Jr. hearing it, like collecting processing it,
putting
gathering
it through that filter,
doing it, and then spitting it. So
do you try to have a thought every line?
I don't have a thought at any line.
That's what the acting class I'm in right now is all about. Have a thought and an intention every line.
Fuck.
Basically, what you just said, put the money in the basket. How would you say that? Like, are you pissed off? Put the money in the basket. Or are you happy or nervous? Like, put the money in the basket.
Right. What do you want from the money in
have
the
a
basket?
feeling before each time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not about putting the money in the basket. It's about the thought and the feeling behind it. That's what my new acting classes say.
Yeah. The array of all the different schools of thought is so interesting, because I'm sure you could find a school down the street from the one that you're in,
right?
Which is just like, it's all about putting the money in the basket.
Right.
It's not about what you feel when you do it. Or like, wouldn't Mamet be that pretty much? He's just like, you just fucking take the money and put it in the basket. Right? I bet. I don't know. I've never met him, but I bet you that fuck face.
I also like to ask about like personal rituals. Do you have any like hobbies or things you do habitually in your personal life?
Yeah, I try to be a good dad. I got a girl who's 10 and she's the shit, so I try to keep myself together for her and do cool stuff. There's a squirrel just climbing up that
Dude,
palm tree.
a squirrel lives at the top of that palm tree.
Hell
It's,
yeah.
it's the weirdest thing ever.
Oh, he's living it.
Yeah, he's like Tom Cruise on the palm tree.
Mother.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
That thing is high as fuck too. That
And
goes
he
up.
doesn't give up.
No.
He's never gonna fall until he's old.
I always try to throw like food on the tree for him to grab.
Oh hell yeah! I wonder if you could have a relationship with him from this window.
I was out there misting my hibiscus this morning because, you know, I'm a green thumb, obviously.
my hibiscus.
And he came down. He was like, what? And he freaked me out. And then I tried to mist towards him, and we didn't connect.
Never mind. Yeah,
we didn't
you'll never
connect.
be his friend. You tried to mist a squirrel on a palm tree.
Well, no, it was hot. I was like, here, have some cool mist. That was my thought.
Cool off. It
He
was a
probably
long
thought I was trying to
climb.
shoot him with a BB gun.
Oh, yeah. In LA, that's an LA squirrel.
Hobbies or
rituals.
personal rituals?
Yeah,
Working
yeah.
out.
Gardening. Gardening.
Oh,
you said green
gardening,
thumb.
yeah.
So I've got 2 big beds in my backyard, and I try to get a lot of like food, fruits and vegetables out of it.
Dude, I'm starting to love that too.
Yeah.
I don't grow veggies, but
I took trees off of my property, like an invasive species of tree, off of the property in order to plant like fruit and nut-bearing
nice.
trees.
That's good, lovely.
Yeah. I have a pomegranate bush that's just like, I feel like it's gonna save me. Somehow I'm gonna either live under it or it will like replenish all my vitamin C at some like very critical point in my life or something, but it's gonna fucking save me.
Sounds like a screenplay where the pomegranate grows.
Directed by the man who wrote Kite Runner or some shit. Hobbies are gardening. Hobbies are being dope.
Buying dope or being dope?
Being the best buyer of dope. What else? Biking is cool. Man, rituals, tattoos. I like going to get tattoos.
On like a regular basis?
Yeah, if I can. I mean, on travels. So like
Oh, cool.
being different places and having little markups to remember it by.
You strike me as like a meditator or a prayer guy.
No, I wish I was.
Either of those? No?
I've tried to do that, yeah, but I'm too short tempered or something. I don't know. There's another good.
Some would argue that's why you need prayer and meditation.
That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. But I can't think of any other ones because I guess
That's
I
fine.
just kind of like read books and
Well,
roll
reading.
around. Reading's good. That's
I've been doing a lot of that lately. I like to hike, and it's been hot for like 6 straight weeks here, so I've been reading a lot more at night.
Yeah.
I just
What do
sit
you
in
read?
that cool air and read.
It's great. What are you on? right
Well,
now?
that wild book right now.
Oh, yeah.
I just finished up a good one that I'm blanking on right now. Damn it.
I'm reading Man in Search of
Man's Search for Meaning? That's
Yeah.
a great one. I read that
Jesus
a few years ago.
fucking
Heavy, but it's
Christ.
great.
Yeah.
Makes you appreciate everything.
Makes you appreciate all of it. Yeah. A guy coming out of a concentration camp with a very good understanding of like human psycho everything.
Yeah.
And
It's one of those books everybody should read.
yeah, I think so.